Welcome everyone, and happy Friday. I hope you're all having a good one. For those of you that have not done this before, I think there's some names I see in the background that I haven't seen before. So I'll just run you through what this process is. And there's a little bit of an extra thing I'm going to add to today, which I haven't done in the previous ones, or I have, but it pops in from time to time. So what this essentially is it's going to be an exploration into your inner world, where I'm going to guide you into experiencing an emotion, holding it as a sensation, and allowing it to be processed by paying attention to it, by hearing it, by looking at it in different ways. Because that's essentially all it is. When we process an emotion, we just watch it. We are with it and we are present in the most intimate sense until it bubbles its way through, and that's it. It's gone. Hey, Angel, good to see you. And so that's all we're doing. But sometimes, we can look at an emotion, and even though we're present with it, we're kind of white knuckle gritting our teeth through it, like ah. And so you're witnessing it, but you're not really allowing it to be. And so what this will essentially be is it's a way of holding an emotion and kind of looking at it in different ways to see, where am I resisting holding this thing? And once we can get over the resistance, or we can hear and figure out what the resistance is, and we can start to let that go, the emotion just gets processed. And that's all processing is. It's just observing it till it bubbles through you and it's gone. So this is somatic, but it has an IFS kind of component to it, which is where we ask it kind of seemingly unbelievable questions. And for those of you that have not done IFS before, it's essentially the idea that these emotions are coming from a part of us. These feelings are a part of us. And so we dive into those parts. And we can have a little dialogue with them, get to know them, and hear what they've got to say. And when they feel heard, then something shifts, something moves. If it doesn't, it's fine. Yeah, at least you've kind of gotten in touch with it, and then whatever happens will happen. There'll be another side to this which I want to bring in, which comes from something called the Sedona method, whereby suffering exists as soon as there is a want. I think the Eastern philosophies will call it like a craving. So we have cravings and aversions, and wherever we're craving or there's an aversion, there is suffering. And what the Sedona method does is it distills all those wants into four main categories. And so when we bring up this emotion in the practice that we'll do shortly, whilst we're kind of going through it, I'll ask you to look underneath that feeling and see if you can distill or figure out if it's coming from one of these four wants. And it'll either be wanting control, wanting approval, wanting security, or wanting togetherness. And there's a flip side to that, but the general wants are kind of where we're going to today. So if it's wanting control, that also means wanting to know, wanting to be right, wanting to understand, wanting it to not be this way, to be other than it is. That's all wanting control. Wanting security is wanting safety, wanting approval, wanting love, and togetherness, or to be rejoined with something. So at some point I'll ask you, if when you're feeling this feeling, looking underneath it to see if you can see if it's coming from one of these four wants. And chances are it'll be a number of those wants. You might go, yeah, it feels like control and security, or something. It's fine. I want you to just pick one, whichever one you feel like you can let go of. And I'll ask you, could you just let that go? And you're asking yourself, you're asking of that part that you're holding, that emotion. And there'll be an answer that'll come back. It'll be faint, it'll be there, it'll be a yeah, sure, or it'll be a no, hell no, I can't. And whatever it is, you listen to it. If it's a no, you leave it alone. You just sit with it. If it's a yes, then the next part, which I'll bring up, will be, well, if you could let it go, would you let it go? And then I'll ask, when would you? Because now is the only time that ever exists. So it's now. So it'll make sense once we jump into it. But you'll be getting to understand a little bit about what the wants are that are underneath these feelings, and just seeing if you could let it go. And by letting it go, we all do letting go a little differently. The way I like to describe it is kind of like, how would you let go of a suitcase that you're holding? It's just kind of open the fingers. There's like an opening that happens, and a letting go. If it doesn't happen, if you're analyzing it too much and you kind of clench into it, that's fine. It'll be what it'll be. But it's just an opportunity to just look at it slightly differently. If something happens, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. All of this needs to be a very light touch. Nothing too serious, nothing you need to push through. Those of you that have done this before, let go of any expectations, because it'll be different. I guess the invitation here is going to be get yourself nice and comfortable. Make sure you're in a place where you can sit comfortably. Let that breath drop all the way down into your belly. And throughout this whole practice, I will keep reminding you to breathe into your belly, because that brings your vagus nerve, it activates the vagus nerve, brings your nervous system over into a more kind of rest and restore state. So even just as we are now, just sitting, you do this with your eyes open or closed. If your eyes are open, just kind of like soft down focus so that your awareness can drop inwards. And just let that breath drop nice and easy into the belly at whatever rate it wants to, deep or shallow, whatever feels right for you. Whether it's through your nose, your mouth, all good. Just let that breath drop nice and easy all the way into the belly. And we're going to do a little grounding exercise first. And I'm going to ask you to observe a beam of light that works its way through your body. And if you can see the beam, great. If you can't, just focus on where my words point and see what's there. And there's nothing you have to do with whatever you find. You're just noticing at this point. You're just clocking. That's there. So as you breathe into your belly, I want you to bring your awareness to the top of your head. I want you to notice a beam of light that strikes the top of your head, right on your fontanelle, that soft spot you had when you were a baby, right on the crown. And it's a sensitive area. And as you zoom into the spot where it strikes the scalp, you may feel or begin to feel a little bit of a prickling sensation. And notice how that light effortlessly penetrates or permeates the skull and begins to wash its way into your head. And as it moves down in between your temples, just notice what's going on in there. Right in the center of your head. And as you continue to breathe into your belly, just follow that light as it moves around your forehead, behind your eyes, maybe softening the brow. Notice what it feels like around your eyes and your cheeks. As that light moves around your nose and down around your jaw, flowing in and around your teeth. How's it feeling in this area? Are you feeling you need to chew down on something? Or clamp your mouth shut? And keep following that light as it begins to work its way around the back of your head now. Flowing down around the back of your head. What's going on back there? Following it as it moves to the back of your throat. Where it begins to pour its way down your throat. And as that light moves down your throat, become aware of the column of your neck. How does it feel in that area? And again, follow it as it opens out into your upper chest and your shoulders. Following that light as it moves down both arms at the same time. Down through the biceps. Around the elbows, through the wrists. Flooding into your hands. All the way into the tips of your fingers. Becoming aware of how it feels in your arms. Connected to your shoulders as they are. And keep following that light as it begins to work its way down through your chest, around your ribs, your lungs, and your back. How's it feeling in there? Again, nothing you have to do with whatever you find. Just keep following that light as it works its way down through the diaphragm, down into your stomach where that breath continues to drop effortlessly and easily. If the breathing is feeling tight or uncomfortable, you're just noticing that's what's going on. Noticing what it feels like in your stomach. Following that light as it washes its way down into your hips and around your tailbone. And it begins to flow down both legs at the same time. Down through the thighs, over the knees, and pouring down your shins. Down into your feet. And all the way to the tips of your toes. Noticing how it feels in your legs. Do they feel like they want to move somewhere? And at this point, I want you to notice how that light begins to form roots that push their way down through the bottom of your feet and push their way down into the floor, all the way down through any layers of flooring until they strike the earth, where those roots begin to snake and spiral their way all the way down through the earth, effortlessly moving through all the layers of the earth, through the crust of the earth, plunging into that fiery, molten core of the earth, connecting you to a source of warmth, of nurturing, of chaos, but also of creativity. and stability. Into what we could call the sacred feminine. Just notice what it feels like to be plugged in this way into the earth. Bring your awareness back up to the top of your head and notice that light that is shining down on the top of your head is in fact branches that are growing up out of the top of your head. And I want you to send those branches of light all the way up, out through the top of your head, out of the ceiling, out into the sky, whether it's morning, noon, or evening. Send those branches up, past the birds, the clouds, out into space, out past the solar system and all the planets. Keep sending those branches out of the galaxy and out into deep space. And in an instant, I want you to send those branches all the way with purpose to the edges of space itself. All the way to the endless unknown, at the edge of infinity. To a source of untapped wisdom. And clarity that lives just in the unknown. Connecting you to Father Sky. And bring your awareness now back to yourself, taking a snapshot view of your body, of you, just as you are. You're plugged into the earth on one end. You're connected to the endless unknown on the other end. And here you sit, just where you need to be. There's nowhere else you need to be right now. And let your mind move to the situation that's unfolding in your life. The situation that you're wanting to look at. Whatever's brought you here. And you'll see all the images. Allow yourself to hear the words being spoken. Even the words you're speaking to yourself. And begin to notice how that scenario is showing up in your body. What is it creating within you? And where are you feeling that, those sensations? Taking care to note that you are the observer. It's you watching this unfold within you. And through that little bit of separation where you can just observe it, I want you to see if you can pick out the rough shape of what's going on inside you. Where are these sensations playing out? If they're playing out in more than one location, just pick one area and get a rough idea of the shape of it. It may feel solid, it may feel kind of cloudy. Either way is fine. Pick out as many sensations as you can that are occurring in that shape. Whether it feels dull or jittery or edgy or heavy or tight or unsettled. It'll be unique to you. And I want you to see if you can dig a little deeper underneath those sensations and see if you can tell if they're coming from a wanting control, wanting approval, wanting security, or wanting togetherness. And maybe you can notice more than one want, and that's fine. Just pick one. And just in this moment, just for right now, could you let that want go? And if the answer is yes, we'll move on to the next. But if the answer is no, just leave it be for the moment. And if you could let it go, would you? Would you let that feeling unravel and fall away? And if you would, when would you? Knowing that now is the only time that exists. I'll bring you back round again to that situation that is unfolding within you. Again, noticing the sights and hearing the sounds. Feeling the feelings that arise within your body. Seeing where they show up, the shape of them, the sensations. As you continue to breathe into your belly, allow them to be there. And again, look underneath those sensations and see if you can tell if it's coming from wanting control, also known as to be right, to understand, to know, or if it's wanting approval, or love, or security, or safety, or togetherness, or oneness. And whichever want you can feel. Just in this moment now, could you allow that want to dissolve and fall away? And if you could, would you? Would you release it and set it free? And if you would, when would you? And I'll bring you back round again. to that situation that's unfolding for you. See it in your mind's eye. Noticing how it unfolds in your body. Let your awareness go there and pick up the sensations. And once again, digging a little deeper just underneath those sensations to see if you can tell whether it's coming from wanting control, wanting approval, wanting security, or wanting togetherness. And whichever want you've noticed, or that you're prepared to play around with, could you, just for now, in this moment, you can always pick it up again later, but just for now, could you let that want dissolve and fall away? And if it's a no, you still go with the no. There is still a release that happens when you acknowledge the no. And if it's a yes, would you? Would you let it unravel and be set free? And if you would, when would you? And bring you back round again to this situation that's unfolding for you. Again, noticing how it's showing up in your body. The part that wants to be seen or heard that's showing up in this way. Picking out all the sensations. And at the same time, is there a color that these sensations, that this shape could take? And if this shape with these sensations in this color, if it could reach up to your voice box and speak, what would it say? Or what noise would it make? And how do you feel about that? If the feeling is one of kind of a resistance, don't want it, don't like it, shouldn't do that, that sort of thing, I want you to see if you can soften that feeling towards this shape. As you breathe nice and easy into the belly. And could you ask this shape how old it is? See if you can tell what age it is. Or try and ask it how old it thinks you are. age that it thinks you are is different, and try to tell it how old you actually are. And see what it makes of that. And try not to be too analytical with this. You're just noticing. Could you ask this shape within you what it's protecting you from? Or what it's afraid will happen if it isn't there? And this will point to an underlying feeling. Sometimes can point to an underlying feeling. And if you do notice another feeling emerges at this point, that's where your attention goes to now. Otherwise, stay with the shape that you've got. And I want you to see if you can soften your body enough to allow this feeling, these sensations, this shape to be welcomed in. See if it wants to move. You're not forcing it to move, you're just noticing. Maybe it even wants to tighten up a little under your gaze. Try to notice as well the quality of your gaze. Like, is it overly analytical? Is it laser focused? If that's the case, you kind of want to soften it. It's just a gentle observation. It's a seeing. It's a seeing, not a looking. If that makes sense. There's a slight difference. And just notice if it tightens up, that's fine. You allow it to do what it's doing. If it feels like it wants to move around, you just follow it. The game here is to allow as much as you can. It's almost like an unfolding. As you keep breathing into your belly. If you find you're pushing your way through something, ease back a little. The more effortless, the better. And separate out a bit of your awareness now and locate your heart within your chest. And once you've got it, you can put your hand over your chest if it'll help. But once you've got it, you can feel your heart, and you feel the weight of it, you feel the energy of it, or the substance of it. As you breathe into your belly, I want you to imagine forming a connection between your heart and that shape within you, however it's showing up. So you can do this with a tube, a cable, a thread, a tendril, however you want to do it. Whatever feels like it works. Just connect them together. And just notice what happens. For this kind of work, the heart is limitless. It can give or take anything. And as you're watching and noticing, there are 4 phrases I'd like you to repeat in your mind, speaking to the shape or the sensations. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. And just repeat those a few more times. I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you. Just noticing if any of those phrases feel easier than others to say. And the ones that feel less easy, you still push through with the courage to say them anyway. Taking care to notice that there is still the I that is observing this. It's the conscious, loving I, watching all this happen. And just take a moment to ask this part what it needs from you. And you may get a solid reply, maybe it doesn't know, and it's fine. just take a moment to connecting with this part, just to sort of think about what you want to say to it. From a loving and compassionate perspective, what would you like this part to know? I'd like you to imagine handing a golden thread to this part, allowing it to hold one end, you hold the other, and just let it know that if it needs you, you can pull on that thread, and you, the conscious, loving observer, will do your best to come online and be attentive to it, rather than it feeling like it needs to take over and react. We want to set up a little bit of a buffer where we can pause and self-soothe. And maybe think of any last things you want to say before we begin to wrap this up. And take a few more nice, easy breaths into your belly. And bringing your awareness to the top of your head and to those branches going all the way up. And I want you to begin pulling them all the way back in, retracting them back from the edges of the unknown, bringing with them any wisdom, any insights, any clarity, as they slide effortlessly back down through the atmosphere, back down through the ceiling, sliding easily back into the head. And bringing your awareness back down to your feet, where I want you to begin drawing up those roots, bringing up with them the warmth and the nurture as they slide up through the layers of earth all the way back up, noticing the stability that you keep as those roots slide up through the floor and into your feet. Leaving you as a whole and integrated individual, yet still connected, still grounded, still stable. Taking a moment to notice what's different now. How are you not the same person that sat down or that started this? And taking a few more nice easy breaths. When you feel ready, you can come back into the room, onto the call. Maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes a little. Rolling the arms, or the shoulders, the neck. Any residual jitteriness, if there is, you can just kind of tap it out. Around the face, on the top of the head. On these 2 points, just under the collarbone. Running down the arms. Just regaining your sense of self in the room that you're in. Noticing the walls, the ceiling, the floors. And if anyone felt like they would like to share in the experience, or share what any difficulties, any insights or things,